The Red Bull Ring in Austria is one of the fastest and most flowing circuits in F1 23. There are a good combination of corners from extremely slow, almost hairpin-like turns through to medium speed and fast corners. This diversity really tests your car's overall balance and stability. The rear car stability is a really important factor due to the faster corners, which can cause some problems with rear grip if your car isn't set up properly. But thankfully, this setup doesn't suffer from those problems. Instead, it's fast during a full lap and competitive across a whole race distance. The aerodynamics setup is relatively low due to the extremely long straight right after the pit straight, and there are 3 long straights in total, meaning a higher downforce setup just won't work. Go for 19 on the front wing aero and 15 on the rear wing. This provides good front end bite when you throw the car in towards the apex, and not lowering the rear aero too far ensures it can keep up during the faster turns. With the extremely slow turn 3 and rather tricky turn 1, it's no surprise that I've set the on-throttle differential setup to 50%. This will aid with traction through both of these corners, and then set the off-throttle diff to just 51%. Our suspension geometry incorporates the ideology of most F1 23 car setups, with both front and rear camber being set towards the max, so set the front to -2.6 and the rear to -1. Then lower the toe, but not all the way down. Set the front toe to 0.02 and the rear toe to 0.16. And then the suspension setup for the Red Bull Ring is pretty aggressive. I kept the front suspension pretty stiff, and this will allow the front end to be incredibly responsive when you throw your car into the faster corners towards the end of the lap. There also aren't too many high curbs around Austria, so we don't need to soften the car to account for those. Just be careful with turn 1 because the curb there is probably the largest of the whole lap. Then at the rear, go with a suspension setup of 10. For the anti-roll bars, go with 10 and 1, and for the ride height, go with 33 and 39. Then for the brakes, I've gone with our usual route of 100% brake pressure and 54% brake bias. You can increase the brake bias into turn 3 if you want to shorten your braking distance, but ensure it's back to 54% before the next corner. Finally, I've set the tyre pressures all on the lower side, with the fronts higher than the rears. This is very normal for F1 23, so go with 22.9 on the front tyres and 20.3 on the rear tyres. And that rounds out our Austrian car setup for F1 23. This is without a doubt one of my very favourite tracks, and it's slap bang in the middle of a few of my other favourites, with Canada just before it and Silverstone right after. With this car setup, you can be happy that your car will remain stable throughout a race distance, while giving you the speed along the straights and through the corners, so you can challenge for the race victory. Let me know if you like this car setup in the comments below. Also, consider subscribing if you're enjoying our F1 23 videos so far. But for now guys, enjoy this setup and I'll see you on track.